Welcome viewers to your favorite program, La Lumiere de J. It's good to have you with us. If you're just joining us for the very first time, this is a program where we showcase the lives of men and women across the world who have made a decision to succeed. And so we have a mission to go around the world to interview such people, meet them, bring them into your homes, and hopefully by the time you listen to their stories, you'll realize that the things that appeared so big are really not as big at all. It all starts with your decision. So today, we shall be looking at the topic, managing diversity within the workplace. And I have two wonderful people here who will be sharing their stories.
My name is Ayokanmi, a people person who loves to laugh out loud.
Okay.
And a mother of two wonderful young men.
Is any of them here?
Yes, one of them is actually in the audience.
Oh, great. How are you doing, man? Good stuff. Okay. Let's go.
Yeah, so basically, I have gone through, so diversity has been my journey, so to speak.
Okay.
I was born in the northern part of Nigeria. My parents were in ABU Zaria, which was a melting point of different cultures and expatriate cultures. I went to school in Federal Government Girls College, Bakuri, which is farther north. And of course, I mean, definitely in those days, the ethnicity, in terms of the number of different cultures within the pro-unitate system were very mixed.
So you went to an FGC?
Yeah, I went to a Federal Government Girls. I'm a product of pro-unitate.
So am I, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yes.
And I suspect that quite a number of people are.
Yeah.
Then finished at FGGC Bakri, went on to OAU, Ile-Ife, the only university
In your world.
The great university.
Yeah.
And yes, that was another point of meeting more people, meeting more cultures.
Okay.
At this point, it gets more complicated the older we get.
Mm-hmm.
You know, things are not as simple anymore. And yeah, so after then, finished my first and second degree, did architecture. So
Really?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So completed my first and second degrees at OAU Ife, and went on into the world of what my father would call the world of the oppressor. So he says when you are a student, you are in the world of the oppressed. It's always, they gave me F. When you cross over to the other side, you see that things are not as kosher as you thought they were. So when I had completed the time, spent 7 years in the UK, I'm in the UK Education Consulting Company.
Okay.
I moved on to technology, so another shift, another adventure. But in this case, it was a global, what we call a global company, and with diversity as a main ingredient of its DNA.
Okay.
So its philosophy, its values were rooted in diversity. So it was across age, it was across gender, it was across culture, it was across thought patterns, perspectives.
I see.
You know, so what the company did was to bring everything in, because companies that are successful are companies that drive diversity.
Yeah, definitely.
And we all know that diversified teams always outperform homogeneous teams.
Absolutely.
And then it also gives one the dexterity of being able to play across cultures, across borders. So it's been an amazing journey in diversity.
Sounds
And
like it.
yeah, amazing journey in diversity.
Welcome back, viewers. If you're just joining us, we've been discussing on how to manage diversity for success within the workplace, and we've had Ayokanmi share her experiences on how she's been able to, well, first of all, telling her story, but then infusing where she's faced with diversity issues and how she has progressed over time. We're going to hear now from Ogedi. Ogedi, what's your own story?
So very similar to Ayo in surprisingly many ways, right? With my early schooling background being shaped by, you know, the fact that I went to Unity School, Federal Government Girls College, you know, very closer to home. My early years, I spent growing up in the East. Very early years was on the campuses of the University of Nigeria, where my father was a lecturer, and then subsequently in Owerri, and then And by the time I got to my secondary school years, my mother had moved to Abuja. She was working in Abuja.
Okay.
And then after university, in the University of Nigeria and Nsukka, all my working life has been in Lagos. Much of that time was spent working for a professional services firm.
Okay.
That as a philosophy of the firm, created an environment that enabled male and female professionals to succeed, and therefore gender diversity was something that I sort of took for granted growing up in the early years of my career, and the philosophy of the organization consequently made it a lot easier for me to navigate some of the challenges that come inevitably with, as a young woman starting a family, raising a family, while also pursuing a very challenging career. So that I benefited from in terms of the gender diversity perspective. But I guess my experience with the Unity School process, and eventually with my first employer, also then helped me to understand the positive impact of being open, an organization being open to all the other aspects of diversity of people's values, diversity of age, diversity of valuing the young members of the team as much as you value the very old, very senior members of the team and the input that they bring to the table. The power of being open to diversity and how that helps you to counter the risks of groupthink. We all think alike, we all behave alike, and therefore we all solve alike when we deal with a problem. So dealing with that issue of just being open to recognize that in the workplace, employees are first of all human beings. They're human beings that are husbands, that are wives, that are mothers, that are fathers, that are children, sisters, brothers, and come with the wealth of their values, their belief systems, and the way they look at life. And understanding that as an employer, as an organization, as a leader, it behoves us to allow people to bring themselves, all of themselves, to contribute all the positive energy that they can from the diversity of what they bring into the workplace. And a very powerful tool in shaping culture is the whole performance management system. What do you reward, and how do you then deal with their behavior that is not in line with the organization's expectations? And where the performance management in an organization is first driven on a merit basis. How each individual delivers on what they are required to do. It sort of then deals with all the other political, it helps, maybe not entirely dealing with the company, but it certainly helps with dealing with all the other considerations around, am I delivering, and also am I politically aligned, or am I doing or sounding or saying the right things? So first of all, focus on building a merit-based performance management system, reward performance. And then that sort of removes the layers of, helps to remove the layers of worrying about, am I saying the right things, or am I coming across in the right way? It helps people to feel safe.
Now, when we talk about diversity, one word I hear being used a lot is the word tolerance. We need to tolerate, and we need to tolerate. And in my opinion, that word tolerance is demeaning. The magic wand for diversity is respect. That regardless of whether the male, female, 50, 20, they were hired because of capacity and expertise. And that has to be respected. Regardless of whether you think they drink, regardless of whether you think they have habits that are contrary to what we want or we would expect, we must respect each other regardless. And that is the magic wand of diversity.
And you make a very powerful point, Ayo. So when I think about it, we're Nigerians, we live in Nigeria, and I think the biggest contributor to that idea that we're tolerant of these people's, of, their nuances,
Yeah.
is the fact that we have prejudices and stereotypes about how women manage, how men lead teams, how a certain kind of people respond to pressure, how these people process decisions. So I think
I don't think that's peculiar to any.
it's not but
It's across
it is across the
But
world,
don't
right?
also forget also that, it's culture.
It's culture, yeah.
It's really culture. So it's an external influence brought into the workplace.
So there's a role for us as leaders, for the companies we work for the businesses that we set up, to step in and say, these are the ground rules, and this is how we will support our people to deal with these unconscious barriers.
How would you like to be remembered? What's your legacy? What's your picture of success? Let's fast forward to I don't know how many years back. Who would the world remember Ogedi as? Or should the world remember?
I'd say someone who gave everything she had to give, right? We've each been endowed with talents and capacity and skills. I want to be remembered as somebody who worked that talent, those skills, and was a good steward of what I was given
sounds
to work
good.
with.
Yes, Ayokanmi.
Yeah, I'd like to be remembered as someone who made a difference, a positive difference to lives that she came across. I'd like to be remembered as a river who, as she flows through, is giving life, is giving encouragement, is giving strength to those that come, that she passes through, meets on the way.
Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
so-
Nice to hear that. So on our part at La Lumiere today, we believe, and we have something that we've done to help you remember what you said about this day. These pictures were taken as the session was over.
Oh, wow.
Everybody.
Oh, lovely.
So it's a witness to it, and Ayokanmi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's a reminder of what you've said. Those pictures are taken by a company called Photo Lighthouse,
Okay, yeah.
and we partners together on this, and it's just a way. We see it as a milestone, and then hopefully years from now you look at that picture and you remember what it meant to you.
Yes.
And our hope is as you remember that you again remind yourselves, am I on track or not?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome. So viewers, on that note, we hope that we have given you enough to think about, and we hope that when you're confronted with issues around diversity, you take a more deliberate action to resolve it for good. Till we come your way next time, it's bye for now.